right, welcome back, everybody, for some members first content. Members will get this Thursday as soon as I'm done filming and editing it, etc. And everybody else will have to get this on Friday afternoon. But this is going to be my top 10 in 10, my 10-minute rundown of the hottest books selling this week of August 4th, 2023. So these are the books that kind of jumped out to me that I see selling at a premium. Some things that I was looking at on for the Wednesday watch list, some books that might have carried over from last week that have increased sales or increased price, etc. Just the list of books that I see moving on the aftermarket. Hopefully you're enjoying this series as well as everything else here on the channel. Let me know what you think in the comments section. And if you want to see my 10-minute rundown, just hang on for a few seconds after the intro and I will be right back. All right, let's get the clock started and run this thing down in 10 minutes or less. This is going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to do the traditional follow-up to start us off. We're going to do it just, how it rolls out. This first book could have been on the list last week, but the volumes just really weren't there. But I'm looking at Futurama #1. Yes, we know the series is coming back onto Hulu, and the newsstand seems to be the thing that is drawing the most attention, at least for me, for price wise. So we're looking here, raw copy newsstand sold for about $140. 9/8 of a newsstand sold for $400 this past week, which is an increase over last week where this was about $70. Again, for a newsstand. The regular direct edition is also kind of in that same kind of $70 range thereabouts or so, maybe increasing a little bit, but it's really this newsstand that is garnering the most attention and most, I guess, desired copy for collectors out there. But keep an eye on that Futurama #1, that newsstand. Moving on. I don't like talking about the exclusives, especially, con exclusive, but can't ignore it. This is the Transformers ash can we talked about a couple of weeks ago for San Diego, because this was also released at San Diego, but this is the black and white version. A little bit, lesser, harder to find version. I do like it. Daniel Warren Johnson, I believe, did the art on this. It is a black and white version of that ash can, and it is selling, again, at a premium from where it was. It's actually going up. Some auctions ending this week at $256, $300 with multiple bids. There's 19 bids, etc. That's this week, because last week, this is about $150, $100. So you see the increase there. That's why it ends up on the list. Going back to something I did talk about on the Wednesday watch list, this Ravager book, Natalie Sanders cover, gorgeous cover. Obviously, people are wanting this. It's a 1 in 25 incentive. It was pre-selling for a little bit. Granted, there was some pre-sales right around that kind of cover price, not cover price, ratio price, but there were also in that kind of $60 range. Now, it pretty much maintained it since Wednesday. Not a ton of sales, so not a lot of sales on this, but there are still sales in that $45 to $60 range. So it has maintained that price, that pre-order price, at least for now. But again, not a lot of volume, just a few copies sold, but there it is. And the copies listed are still kind of in that price range, if not a little bit more. Sure, you can sneak a cheap one here and there, but you got to get a little bit lucky. Keep an eye out for this one. We'll see what happens. It is the final part of this Night Terrors mini for Ravager, at least. So I don't see interest beyond this just being a cover pickup. This is just for the cover, not really about the guts of this book. Speaking of covers, we did have Muse on our list last week, and I already talked about on Dollar Bin Digging where we consider Daredevil 11 a cameo, maybe 12 as a first full, because there's a couple of actual pages worth of the character inside. But regardless, a lot of people like this because he's on the cover, and it is an awesome cover. So Muse is on the cover of Daredevil 14. I like it. I like the trade dress, how it's all, graffiti look to it. I dig it. 30 plus sales on this week, which is a popular number for volume for this particular week, at least. And the prices are, kind of ticking up a little bit. They're in that kind of $20 range for it individually, but there's a lot of lots with this and issue 11 being sold right in that kind of $50 range. So keep an eye on that as well. A lot of people trying to sell these kind of packaged together. But once again, ignoring that number 12 for one reason or another. Last week, we did have this Hulk book on the list. And I will say prices are actually ticking down a touch, but there's still a lot of volume on this. 30 plus sales of this 1 in 25 Incredible Hulk number 2, 1 in 25 Lionel U incentive variant. I like it. I like this cover. I told you I would go keep an eye out for it and keep looking for one. And I actually did win one at auction this week because, like I said, prices have ticked down a little bit. Still plenty in that $45 kind of range, plenty of sales in that kind of that area. But you see that $27 auction? And that was me. I figured I'd pay a little bit over ratio. I was topping out at 30 bucks. So I won it for 27. So that was actually me. A couple actually ended for a little bit less than that since that one, like 22 and $25. But still, there it is. So is the price coming down? Maybe. Maybe it's because of that second print 1 in 25 virgin version. I don't know. All I know is I like the cover, and it was worth it to me at $27. So keep an eye on this one. We'll see if the volumes maintain, but I'm enjoying this series and the read so far in this Incredible Hulk run. So looking forward to the next issue. Now, spoilers if you haven't seen the end of Secret Invasion, but we got to talk about Gaia because based off of what happened in that episode, she could be the most powerful being in the MCU, which is causing a lot of people to kind of go back to this book. So, and again, another 30 plus sales, but this is actually spread out over all of the different covers because there is a Scotty Young cover. There's a second print as well. This is the cover A. There's a 1 in 25, but there's also a 1 in 50, which is pretty cool here. And that had some spikes over the years as well. Prices aren't really that high right now, but the volumes, as you can see, are there with that 30 plus sales over the week. You're looking at maybe 10 to 15 bucks for the regular covers, and then that you see that 1 in 50 sold for only $86 with the second print together, like kind of bundled together for 86 bucks at auction. But that's what you get sometimes with auctions. It's not exactly super duper hot, but it is kind of ticking up and coming back into the forefront of collectors' minds, I guess. So keep an eye out for this one. You never know where it might go from here, but we'll see if they have any more plans for Gaia going forward, but this was her first appearance, which is why I think people are going back to this one. We also know that Superior Spider-Man is coming back with a new series in the fall from Marvel, so people are going back to the original Superior Spider-Man run with another 30 plus sales. This actually spread out over the multiple printings because this is the first print here. There was a blue second print, a green third print, and a yellow fourth print. Most of the sales have been the first print, but those other later printings have been mixed in as well, for that 30 plus sales. Prices on it, it's kind of ticking up again. Like I said, it's only around that $10 kind of mark, but this was kind of forgotten about for a while. So it's just coming back into people's minds. This is not the first, I guess, appearance of the Superiors, but it's debated how we want to argue this of what the first Superior Spider-Man is, but we can say this is the first solo title for the Superior Spider-Man. So that is causing a lot of interest back in this book with the new title coming soon. Next, this is a book I left off unintentionally. I just forgot about it. I had it on my watch list going into the week on Wednesday last week, and then I forgot about it for the top 10, and it probably should have made it. But it does make it this week because it's still selling. This is that Batman Gargoyle Ash Can. 40 plus sales still on this. Again, a week later. Still moving for this particular book. So $30 to $40 have been a lot of the bulk of the sales, but there are a couple of $20 sales mixed in as well. This is a 1 per store Ash Can, so there are copies out there, but not a ton. And people still seem to keep buying this, as the actual title won't be released for another couple of months, I think. I think it's like a September book as well. So people want to get that jump on it. I don't know, but they are buying this Ash Can. And to wrap us up, this is another book that was on the list last week, but it actually increased. There was 50 plus sales last week. We got 60 plus sales this week. So people keep buying this Wolverine #1, the 1988 ongoing #1. So we got Madripoor. Maybe we're expecting Patch, different versions of Wolverine to be showing up in Deadpool 3. I don't know the rationale behind why everybody's flocking to this now, but they kind of are. And, again, the prices might be ticking up a little bit, but it's really about that volume, as I said, because there are multiple copies and conditions out there with, some copies selling as cheap as like 30 bucks, some going to up to like 50 bucks. Some of them are even low grade ones. Like that copy that sold for 28 bucks, it's pretty beat. Like it's pretty banged up, but it's still got almost 30 bucks out of it. And you can see a 9.8 best offer on $415. So prices are there as well, but it's mostly about the volume of why I got it on the list. But it's not just the ongoing #1 that's moving. We also got to pay attention to, the mini. So 1982, Frank Miller, 4-issue mini Wolverine. Again, classic, iconic cover, obviously, but another 60 plus sales on this book. So there are volumes of this moving, and they have been over the last few months. So maybe these could have made the list a couple other times, but it makes it this week because it's standing out a little bit more than some of the other books right now. As far as pricing goes, again, same thing. Condition will drive the price higher or lower. We've got direct edition selling for only 51 bucks at auction, while a newsstand sold for 160 bucks. And then we got some lots of the collected all 4 issues selling for anywhere from 155 bucks at auction to $300 as a best offer. 4-issue series. Keep an eye out for all of them. But number one is obviously the most sought after of the group because of the cover, first appearance of Mariko, etc. That said, we've got 30 seconds to spare. That's what we've got for you this week. These are the books that I saw selling on the aftermarket. Hopefully you found that helpful. Hopefully you found this information useful. Thanks to all of our members. That's why you guys get this a little bit early, but I appreciate all of you viewers, and hopefully you're all subscribing to the channel. And make sure you you are subscribed, hit that alert button so you don't miss any of the shows, as we have stuff dropping every day on the channel, sometimes multiple things. Like I said, members are getting this and Dollar Bin Digging today, whereas everybody else is going to get this and the Get Off My Lawn Boys on Friday night live on Rennavision. And come back on Saturday for Saturday night special. I forgot to turn the clock off, but you know where we're at. We made it in our 10 minutes. And then Sunday, we'll have the Tales from the Dark Side Star Wars show, and then start the week over anew. So summer schedule still applies. You're going to be interchanging Hidden Gems and Chasing Ghosts on Tuesdays, with the Wednesday watch list being the Monday show for the foreseeable future. But once school starts, we may shift back to the normal double dip on Mondays. We'll see. But with that, I'm not going to keep you any longer. I'm going to get back to it and film Dollar Bin Digging. All right, later.